Buddy Mullins, 24-hour man. I arrived the day before when there is no circus, only dreams of one in the hearts of kids. Without me, they would only wish for the greatest show on earth. They call me the make sure guy. I make sure the lot is laid out, midway, menagerie, big top, dressing tent. Make sure hay bales are stacked, grain sacks piled, gasoline and food delivered. Make sure it's all there before the train steams into town tomorrow morning. After I make sure we'll be ready for clowns and wild beasts and high-wire walkers, I tramp the neighborhoods and make sure the advance man has plastered banners where the kids can hear the bright, bold letters and a roaring tiger calling them to a show they'll never forget. Willard Owens, circus buff. If I leaned out the bathroom window, I had the perfect view across Barber Street. But didn't the wife call me fool when she saw me there? Haven't missed a circus in 42 years, like the wife never missing a white sail. The flying squadron came first, always, carrying animal cages, cookhouse wagons, trucks, tractors, and noble elephants to move it all. Razorbacks unloaded the flats, and the slow procession of wagons and elephants trundled down Main to the lot. First up is the cookhouse. Circus fellas can really pack it away, with its long tables, red-checked tablecloths. Horse tent next. Hammer gangs pound the stakes for the tents. Big top, sideshow, dressing room, shop. The roughnecks come with the second section, rolling out the big top, and that's the perfect name for it. Newspaper called it the largest in the world, all 3 blocks of it. Then lacing the canvas sections together with rope. When the tent is hoisted to the top of the poles, must be a good 60 feet, canvasmen fasten the sidewalls, like curtains on a stage, except though these lower from the top to let in a breeze, near 100 degrees in there, and are spiked to the ground to keep kids from sneaking in. Can't say I blame 'em. Tried it myself enough when I was a boy. Never wanted to miss the show. Dixie Levine, gorilla attendant. I can't remember how I wound up with the circus, let alone watching Gargantua and Toto. My job was to stand in front of their air-conditioned wagon, always 76 degrees, thank you, under the sign that boasted largest gorilla ever exhibited, and keep kids from banging on the glass. Mostly, though, kids just stared at Gargy. Hey, mister, they'd say, is he mean? I'd lean close to them and almost whisper, he hates humans. They'd look at him, then look back at me when I said, that's because his keeper beat him. They'd take a small step back. Yep, can't say how many trainers he crippled. Lost count. Really? I just nod sadly, afraid I'd laugh at my own tales. But nobody comes to the circus for the truth. Am I right? I mean, you tell me. How many people want to know Gargy spills Coca-Cola from a dented tin bowl? That he couldn't care less about Toto, if you catch my drift. And that glass? They put that in because people complained when Gargy peed in his hand and drenched the crowd. Trust me, nobody comes to the circus for the truth. Polly McDonald, 11 years old. I'd have been happy to stay in the tent all day, but Aunt Betty insisted we see the show for the clowns and high wire acts. If you ask me, walking the wire is nothing compared to working the cage with 6 jags and leopards happy to slash your face or take your arm. So I made sure I saw all the animals before the show. Betty Lou, the pygmy hippo, floated in her tank, while one of the cage boys, exactly the job I want, was feeding her pieces of chocolate. I swear! Edith, the giraffe, made my neck hurt from looking at her face so high. I kept my distance from the camels. I've read they spit. Even if you were blind and deaf, you could know by the smell you were with the animals. By the time I saw the elephants, Aunt Betty was anxious to get inside the big top. Still, I had to stop and admire them. Lined up, they seemed to block the sun. They're saggy animals, the way their ears flap, skin hangs, trunk swings slowly from side to side, then dart down to scoop a snack of hay. I reached out and offered a handful of peanuts. In a blink, they were snorted away. I laughed, wiped my wet hand on the seat of my pants. I would have stayed, but Aunt Betty'd never forgive me if we were late for the show. Thomas Barber, detective, Hartford Police Department. I was there to watch for runaways, bail jumpers, small-timers, anything that might ruin it for the kids. They could contain themselves no longer. the children whose fathers were working overtime in a war plant or fighting in foreign lands. They both broke free of mothers and aunts in cotton dresses, summer hats, purses in hand, drawn to the rowdy serenade of the Midway. Wagons striped with red and white sold orangeade, hot dogs, cotton candy the size of a hornet's nest, apples shelled by bright red candy, popcorn in boxes, peanuts in bags. The ice cream vendor's hand vanished into the mist of his refrigerator truck, then appeared holding a bar or cone. The bug men walked beneath sandwich boards selling chameleons on string leases for $1. Pennants, buttons, pictures of the sideshow, circus stars, the big top, miniature sombreros, and a monkey on a stick. Money was tight because of the war, but children gawked, grinned, and babbled to their friends, captives of the riches around them. Harry King, United States Army. When the Red Cross volunteers came for us, they told us the circus would take our minds off things they couldn't speak of. The best friend who died crying like a baby in your arms, a shy kid who lost half his head to a sniper's bullet, the big mouth who bragged until we hit the beach and he died, legless, in disbelief. So we went to the circus, but it didn't take our minds off things. Not as we moved among the stairs, reminders of letters unanswered, men buried far from home. But, except Red in the wheelchair, we walked past the freak show to the big top. Mickey with one leg missing, Charles with an arm dead as an old fish, me with one eye gone. Past people who couldn't see the wounds that haunt our nights. Eddie Freakman Carlisle, sideshow fan. I came to see the freaks. Can't have a Midway without 'em, without the barker's call. Hurry, 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 step right up, friends and fans of freak shows, see mysteries to beguile the innocent, to confound the doubtful. This one's a bust. Freaks aren't what they used to be. About all they've got here are a giant and his wife, fat girl, Rasmus Nielsen, the tattooed strongman, and a bunch of midgets. Give me some real freaks. Like Violet and Emily, Siamese twins that played violin and piano, like the half-girl Violetta, nothing there from the waist down. Give me a three-breasted woman or an alligator man. Give me the old days when freaks were freaks. Skeets Hubbard, who drove a 6-inch spike into his forehead, or CeeLo, the seal boy. How can you have a freak show without a seal boy? Circus is going to hell, you ask me. Give me the old days. We had real freaks then. David Hancock, seatman. I didn't like it, but I couldn't say nothing because I'm just a seatman, working the grandstands, filling water buckets, watching for fire. I understood my place, but I knew something bad would happen when we pulled into the siding so late we had to blow the evening show. Everybody knows blowing's a show's bad luck, just like whistling in the dressing room or peanuts on the floor or them old camelback trunks. Only worse. Everybody knows that. Just ask around. Go ahead. Just ask.